Hello, 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 hello. Hi, friends. Shu here. So, let's talk a little bit about how to stop feeling overwhelmed by your goals. Yeah. As I'm recording this, is towards the end of the year 2020, and I know this will live, forever on the web somewhere, different venues, different platforms. So whenever you see this, it might not, it might not be 2020, it might be the beginning of a new year. But I think that as people who want to grow and want to thrive and want to make a difference, that we're constantly, continually pursuing goals to do so. Um, so this will apply no matter what time of the year, what month, what day, what you watch this. But it can be overwhelming, especially when you have a big calling on your life, you have a big goals, big dreams. It can be feel overwhelming. Like, this is so big for one person to do, for most to carry. I'm never sure where to start. I'm not sure where to begin. And you're not alone. You are not alone in that. Many of us feel overwhelmed by the things that we feel called to do. And so here are just a few simple ways to not feel overwhelmed by your goals. The first one is to break it down. Yeah, write it down and break it down. So if your goal is to write a book about your journey, let's say you had a debilitating illness and you overcame it, or you found ways to still enjoy life in spite of it. So you probably already have heard that the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, right? So no matter how big your goal looks or appears to be, if you break it down into smaller action steps, it becomes more manageable. So let's go back to the example that I started telling you about. So if your goal is to write a book, you write it down, whether it's in your computer, tablet, phone, notebook. The goal is start with the goal, write a book. Now I want you to think about what all do you need to do in order to make that goal a reality. What are all the steps? So right now you're not going to know, you're not looking for a perfect list. You're just going to do a brain dump. You're literally just brainstorming everything that you can think of that you need to do, that needs to happen, not just for you personally, but for anyone who wants to achieve that goal. So anything that comes to mind, just write it down. Don't judge it. Don't try to, analyze it. Just write it down. Write down all the things that come to mind that you need to write. You need to do to write it to, to publish your book. First, you have to write it, right? You have to decide what you're going to publish. If it's going to be ebook or paper book, it's going to be what format do you want to use? What kind of book are you writing? Who are you writing it for? And what kind of cover you're going to have? How are you going to promote the book? So write all. There's such a few ideas. Just write all of those down. And then once you've written all, like did your brainstorm, written down all the steps that you think needs to happen, all the things that need to happen for you to achieve this goal, then I want you to prioritize it, kind of organize it by priorities. So the first thing, like, no, you look at that list, like, okay, which one of those things needs to happen first? Then what needs to happen next? Then what needs to happen after that? What needs to happen after that? So you just start kind of, and this might be good to do if you're doing on paper. It might be good to do it, but to pencil in the numbers if you want. Like, just put, like, this will be this action step, or this thing, or this strategy will be number one. This will be number two. If you're doing on your computer, you can start moving it. So you're writing each, if when you did your brain dump, you hopefully you've written each one of those things or steps on a separate line, so you're just kind of moving it up and down if you want. So trying to organize it by priority, what needs to happen first, and what happens to happen next, and then the one after that. After you've done that, I then suggest that you, for each one of no for each first, once you've done that, give yourself a deadline. It might be like, oh my goodness, shoot, this is so much. Like, how am I going to do this? Yes. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming even when you're doing this on your own. And that's why it's good to have a coach to walk you through it. So you're not doing it alone. So you have someone to know to walk with you on this journey and help you, prioritize, help hold you accountable, and give you tools for success along the way. So back to what I was saying, you then, assign a deadline to this project. Not that you look at all the things you think you need to do. Like, okay, how much time do I need to accomplish all of this? So let's say you're gonna give yourself 6 months. I'm just throwing some things out there. I have clients who have written books in 1 month. I actually have one who did it in 2 weeks. Another one did it in a week. So it's doable. You can do it in less than time. And I also have heard, Chancellor Bott, for example, his whole, if you follow him, he's the founder of the self-publishing school. And for example, him, the first book he did, I think him and his brother wrote it in a weekend. At least had the first draft done in the weekend. So there's many ways of getting, you can get as quickly, no, at least the writing part, as quickly as you can. But looking at the full picture per se, giving yourself, this for this example, give yourself 6 months. Then when you give yourself 6 months, then look at the different strategies that you have, the different steps, the action step that you said that you think should happen in order to meet this goal. And hopefully by now you already have prioritized those action steps. Assign a deadline to each one of them. You're like, oh shoot, this is a lot of homework. Assign a deadline to each one of them. You'll thank me later. I actually have a very good friend of mine who done this. He actually posted in a writers group. She's like, Shu, every time I read one of your posts, it just makes me want to go, set a goal and set deadlines and take action. I'm like, awesome, because that's what I want you to do. It's to get it done. Because you can accumulate all this knowledge, all the strategies, but if you're not putting it into action, honestly, it doesn't do anyone good. It doesn't do good to anyone. So assign those deadlines to each one of those action steps. And then the last step is take action. That first one that you find that you use decided that need to happen first, start working on it. All right. So to recap, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Write down your big goal. Write down, do a brain dump of all the things that you think need to happen in order for you to reach that goal. Then prioritize those things, those action steps, organize them by priority. What needs to happen first? What needs to happen next? What needs to happen after that? Then assign a deadline to your main goal. And then based on that deadline, if I need 6 months, then whatever comes first, the first action step might need to be done within a week in order for me to meet that goal in 6 months. So assign deadlines to the main goal first and then to each action step. And then the last one is take action. And then also, evaluate for yourself if you need help to do that. You need help for someone to hold you accountable, to someone to walk with you on that journey. I remember when I started using a coach, it was just honestly a godsend. And up to this day, I still use coaches myself because I want to keep growing. I want to keep thriving. So want to keep serving. So I have people who coach me along the way so that I can keep doing what I was called to do, what I enjoy to do. And it's made a big difference in my life. Now, alone, you can only do so much. But with the help of others, you can do much more. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a strength. Because a strong person knows that alone they can only do so much, but with the help of others, they can do much more. So they reach out for help so they can continue to do more and more and more of the things that they want to do, that they're called to do, that they love to do. So, what is your goal? As always, I'd like you to share. So, in the comment, let me know what is your big goal? What action step? What's the first thing that you need to get done, like this week, today, this week, like right now, in order to start working on that goal? And then also share your strategies. The more we share, the more we learn, right? The more we learn, the more we grow. And I also want to learn from you. I know I've said this over and over again, and it's still true today. So share below what helps you to accomplish your goal. What are some strategies that you take, and how, what do you do so you're not feeling overwhelmed by your goals? All right, I want to read your comments. Take care.